Yeah, so you bring up FanDuel and DraftKings, right? And I wanted
Mhm.
to ask you because you guys are betting guys. When it comes to gambling, with sports gambling, what is your best prop? And we'll stick with NFL here, just because we're talking about football. What's your best prop to use, and what's your worst prop that you probably won't ever choose again?
Okay, so my best prop one's easy. It might only be on FanDuel. I don't know if I've ever seen anywhere else. They have for baseball and NFL, I'd imagine every sport, but they have what they call the four-way margin. And in football, it's your team wins by 1 to 13 points or 14 or more. So you got four choices. And the reason I love that so much is the value that you get on the return on the favorite at 1 to 13 is immense.
Hmm.
And you also get to play the reality that, let's face it, the spreads are normally pretty accurate. So if you see a team laying 6.5, you just take them to win by 1 to 13. You're on both sides of a close game relative to the spread. You're going to walk away with a plus money payout. So
Yeah.
the four-way margin is definitely my favorite of the off the beaten path bets. And I have never won on any of the websites specials. They pre-make it like Saquon Barkley combined with Henry are going to get 600 yards today and three
It's like
touchdowns. I've
those are like
never won
under
on any
five
of them.
percent.
Yeah, I've never won on any of them. But the margin is my go-to. And that again, I've only seen that on FanDuel, but that's where I do it.
Yeah, I think for me it's first quarter props. I think
Oh
first
yeah.
quarter props when it comes to the NFL and the NBA, if you know how to just put two legs on it, you could put two legs. Most of the time I like doing straight bets, but you gotta have a high capital for that. For the people that don't have a high capital and they just bet 5, 10, 20, $25, you put two legs on the first quarter bet, and honestly a lot of times I would say like 60% of the times and higher I'm hitting on those. Like for example, you could get Rico Dotto 5 yards to rush 5 yards in the first quarter and it'll be like minus 200, right? And then you
Yeah.
could get Saquon Barkley to rush for 10 yards and it'll be like minus 170. You add those two together and it's either borderline a plus
Mhm.
or if not, it is a plus.
Yeah, it's gonna be close. No, I love that theory. The other thing that you can do if you're doing first quarter specifically ones is you got to be on top of this. I mean, there's a time window for this. Once you find out who's getting the opening coin toss, you know whether they're going to get blown out down the field. Like Chicago and
Mhm.
Cincinnati, they're letting up a touchdown. You know that 100%.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Steelers are playing Chicago this week. If the Steelers get the ball first, take the under for the first quarter because the Steelers, first off, take forever if they do score, and they're going to have the ball the extra possession because you only really get
Mhm.
three possessions a quarter. So Chicago might or might not score the first time against the Steelers. Their defense is pretty good at shutting them down. And at the end of at least the first drive. So that's how I look at it is if you know insights on teams' first drive tendencies and you're able to hit that window between the announcement of who gets the ball first and the bets closing, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
You got to, like I said, you got to really be on top of it. But that is, in my opinion, one of the sweetest spots for the first quarter bets.
And I'm gonna give you just one more gem because I could go on and on
Oh
about this.
yeah,
Steve already knows I'm a sports gambling man for sure. But
yeah.
one more gem, right? Prime time games like Thursday night football, Sunday night football, or Monday night football. What I
Mhm.
love to do is I'll take $100 and I'll put four different bets of $25 on first touchdown score. So the top two players on both sides of the team, 25, 25, 25, 25. And
Mhm.
then the first guy, let's say like this past Monday, I hit with CD Lamb, right? It
Sure.
was Javante Williams at plus 400. It was CD Lamb at plus 700. It was Brock Bowers at plus 800, and it was Alshon Genti at plus 600. So I put $25 on each one. The highest one, like the ones with the less odds, obviously you don't want it to hit. You want it to be the one with the highest odds.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
even then, you'll still make your money back of $100 that you're putting in because of the high payout.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, is there a certain logic behind it being a primetime game versus a regular run of the mill 1 o'clocker?
I just do prime time because I feel like when it comes to Vegas odds, and this is just conspiracy. This is my conspiracy when
I
it
want
comes
to
to
hear
when it
it.
comes to Vegas odds on primetime games, they love they love to try to get people to bet one way and it goes the opposite way. So I
Oh yeah.
feel like when that happens, I feel like you can put the first touchdown score on just both sides at any side, and it's just going to be up for grabs. It's going to be a 50-50 shot. When it comes to Sunday football, 1 p.m. slate, 425, I feel like most of the time a lot of field goals happen, but it doesn't matter because you could still score, you could still
Mhm.
win off of the first touchdown because obviously it's the first touchdown. But I feel like more players on Sunday slates, like there's a more variety of players that can score on each team, like the wide
Mhm.
receiver twos, the wide receiver threes, the running back twos, or even it could be a special teams or even a pick six or a fumble
Mhm.
recovery to the crib. I feel like that happens more during 1 p.m. slates, 4 p.m. slates on Sunday than it does on prime time. I feel like prime time, the playmakers are the first ones to score.
I can see the logic in there. In general, I don't do touchdown props because I
Mm,
kind of feel like it's betting the hard money line, or the hards and craps. It's just kind of
yeah.
set up to sound cool when it hits, but it really doesn't pay out as much as it should given the
Mhm.
variance of it. But I get where you're at because the primetime elements, there's all that extra personal juice that comes out, and there's so much of this game is placating your stars. Whether you want to, it doesn't really even matter what level you're looking at, whether it's college or pros.
Yeah.
The higher you go up from that talent level, the less that there is about coaching them, the more is about placating them.
Yeah.
And that makes a whole lot of sense because all the people who are going to be the top four are going to be the stars. It's going to be everyone you said, CD,
Mhm.
Bowers, etc. And that makes a whole lot of sense. I'll have to keep my eye out on that one. That's an interesting take there. But I can see the human element of, unless it's something crazy like the Super Bowl where we haven't given a touchdown to Sky Moore all year, and we're just going to do that
Right.
just to make it special. And I'm Reed, and I've been here 7 times, so it doesn't matter what I do.
Mhm.
The rest of them are there, so I get that. Yeah, I mean, certainly every primetime game Rice is in, or when it's the national 4 o'clock game for that matter. When the Bills played the Chiefs, was the same thing. Only the prime star scored in that game.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I can certainly see the all the eyes on me type moments. Yeah.
No, and it's funny you bring up Josh Allen and the Bills because, bro, you know what it is? If someone would have put $1,000 on Josh Allen scoring 6 touchdowns this past Sunday, man,
Oh, that had to be paying out over $1 million on a 6
at
payout.
least,
Yeah.
at least.
I don't even know if they
Wow.
let that bet happen. Yeah, because normally you don't
Probably
even
not.
see 3. It's hard to find that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you hit that, the FBI is not like FBI and IRS are knocking on your door like that same day because you knew something was going on that we didn't or something.
So one of my favorite ones in the world of sports betting was Sunday Night Football, more so than any other network, will show like their overhead cam about the quarterbacks, as they're in the huddle coming out.
Mm.
And there was this guy who just had this theory: anytime Russell Wilson touches someone, he's going to give them the ball. So when they would show it on TV, he would do a live bet of what the next play is. And he was something like 17 out of 18. And he just kept
Jeez.
progressively getting higher because once he figured it out, he figured it out. But he only bet on Russell Wilson. Like no other play did he hit on. And the FBI investigated him because of that, because he thought he was in cahoots. The guy had never met Russell Wilson in his life, never had any communication. He just learned his tell and then cashed in. Now you can't even bet on Russell Wilson next play for a first down. It's something that's interesting. You get burnt, you take it off the book. But it was just fun things like that happen. That be observant. It makes a big difference in the world of gambling, football, and the rest of it. They are people at the end of the day. It's not just a statistical world.
There was another receiver. I forgot what it was. It might have been Chase or I can't remember who it was, but they used to adjust their gloves. Someone caught onto it. They used to adjust their gloves every single time. And they was like, okay, plays going to that person or something. But they were such a good receiver that it didn't matter. Even if you did know who the hell it was, you're not stopping him. It was one of those kind of things.
It was AB.
Yeah. I couldn't. I knew it was somebody that was relevant enough that no matter what it was, you're not stopping them. So it didn't really matter.
Yep, he's not the only one, but he's the one that became very. The Pittsburgh Steelers under Ben Roethlisberger had so many tells that they didn't bother fixing because they played against Cincinnati and Cleveland, that they didn't have to. They had played 2 relevant games a year for the entire mid 2000s, and it came down to who won between them and the Ravens. Quite frankly, that's the norm. Ohio sucks and falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I get you guys do a lot of college football. I kind of wish that would happen with them too. but that's a side story. Breaking the Constitution just to catch someone who broke NCAA rules is not okay.
Ohio State will always be in the picture, buddy. Always be in the picture.
I know that. If you're breaking the Constitution because someone made you lose, you're going to be there. That's mafioso 101.